There is a quiet strength in those who move without announcing their steps. There is a kind of magic in dreams that grow unseen, nurtured by patience and protected from the clamor of public opinion. Today, I want to speak to you about the sacred space where your goals take root, the space of silence where effort is hidden and your spirit grows without distraction. For it is not the cheers of the crowd nor the whispers of doubt that shape your destiny. It is the quiet, steadfast work that no one sees, the dedication that only you witness. Let us journey into the power of keeping your dreams close, letting them flourish in silence until they are ready to bloom. There is a sacredness in quiet work. The world will often ask you to announce every step, every triumph, every plan, as though your value depends on the applause of strangers. But true growth does not happen in the spotlight. It happens in the dim corners of your life, in the hours when no one is watching, when the only eyes that witness your effort are your own. There, in that solitude, your dreams take shape, slowly but surely, like a river carving its path through stone. It is in this hidden labor that strength is forged, patience is learned, and character is refined. When you labor in silence, you protect your vision from the unpredictable winds of judgment. There will always be voices ready to question, to doubt, to belittle. They will offer opinions as if they hold the map to your destiny, yet they have no understanding of the fire that burns within you. By keeping your work close, by tending your goals privately, you shield them from criticism that can wither the spirit. The quiet allows you to nurture your dreams with care, to feed them with persistence, and to give them the space to grow beyond the limitations of others' imaginations. Silence is not emptiness. It is a fertile ground where your ideas can breathe and expand. While the world may demand immediate results and public declarations, the seeds of greatness require time and patience. Every action you take in private, every small victory that goes unnoticed, compounds into a force that is unstoppable when it finally reveals itself. There is no need to rush to prove yourself to anyone but your own soul. The work you do in silence carries an authenticity that no performance can imitate, and its impact when it emerges will speak louder than any announcement ever could. And so, do not be afraid of solitude. Do not fear the quiet hours spent building, planning, learning, and refining. There is honor in being patient, in choosing substance over spectacle. Let your efforts remain your own, treasured by you alone until the moment is right for them to be seen. Like a tree growing in the forest, unseen by the passing crowd, your roots sink deep, drawing strength from the earth itself. And when you are ready, when your goal has grown tall and strong, it will rise with a power and grace that commands attention. Not because you shouted, but because you prepared in silence. Remember, the world does not create greatness, it only witnesses it. The true measure of achievement is not how many voices celebrate your efforts, but how steadfastly you have labored when no one was watching. Let your hands work in secret, your mind plan in quiet, and your heart trust the process. For the power of quiet work is the power of the soul itself, the power that turns dreams into reality, not with noise, but with unwavering devotion. There is a fragile power in a dream, a delicate spark that can be easily dimmed by the careless words of others. When you share your vision too soon, you invite not only curiosity, but judgment. The world, in its haste to comment and compare, often cannot see the beauty in the work that is still becoming. Protect your vision, for it is yours alone, a sacred map of your potential, waiting to be fully drawn before it is revealed. Those who speak too soon often dilute the force of their own dreams, scattering the energy that should have been reserved for quiet, steadfast action. You must learn to hold your ambitions like a precious jewel, close to your heart, nurturing it without exposing it to the shadows of doubt. There will always be voices that question your path, that measure your worth by the standards of others, voices that offer criticism instead of encouragement. These voices, no matter how loud, do not define your journey. Only you understand the contours of your dream, the labor it demands, and the fire that drives it. Guard your vision, not out of fear, but out of respect for its fragility and its promise. To protect your vision is not to hide it forever, but to give it the time and care it needs to grow strong enough to withstand scrutiny. Dreams, like seedlings, cannot flourish under harsh winds. They require patience, nourishment, and shelter. By keeping your plans and your goals close, you allow them to mature fully without distraction or interruption. You create a space where your efforts are uninterrupted, where the quiet work of shaping your destiny can take root, and when the time is right, your vision will emerge, not tentative, not hesitant, but radiant and undeniable, ready to stand firmly in the light. The discipline of protecting your vision also teaches you discernment. You learn to distinguish between voices that offer wisdom and those that bring only noise. You come to understand that not everyone needs to know your intentions. Not everyone should witness your process. The energy spent defending or explaining your dream is energy taken away from making it real. When you safeguard your vision, you preserve your strength, your focus, and your resolve. So cherish your dreams in silence, water them with effort, and shield them from doubt. Let your vision grow in a sanctuary of patience and devotion. And when it finally appears before the world, it will not only survive scrutiny, it will shine not. Strength is often misunderstood. Many believe it is shown in loud declarations, in visible victories, or in the approval of others, but true strength is quiet, steadfast, and born in the shadows of unseen effort. It is forged in the moments when no one watches, when the world is asleep, and your hands labor while your heart whispers encouragement to itself. There is a resilience that comes not from applause, but from the commitment to rise each day and do the work, even when the results are invisible. In silence, you build a foundation that cannot be shaken by opinion or circumstance. When you work in quiet, you discover the depth of your own discipline. Discipline is not something given to you by recognition or reward. It is something cultivated in the soil of patience and consistency. The hours spent practicing, learning, and refining yourself away from the eyes of the crowd are the hours that strengthen your character. You learn to honor your promises to yourself, to follow through when the path is lonely, to persist even when doubt gnaws at the edges of your resolve. These unseen actions weave the fabric of your inner fortitude. Silence also nurtures self-trust, the kind that cannot be borrowed or inherited. When you labor unseen, you learn to rely on your own judgment, your own sense of direction, and your own intuition. You come to understand that the voices outside are not the architects of your destiny. Your own hands, guided by your inner wisdom, are. Each quiet decision, each patient effort, each moment of perseverance builds confidence that does not waver in the face of skepticism. It is in this trust of self that your true power resides, strong enough to weather criticism, setbacks, and disappointment. There is a humility that grows from working in silence, too. You learn that accomplishment is not about recognition or comparison, but about the transformation within. The strength born of quiet labor is invisible, yet it is the most enduring. It carries you forward when the world doubts, when the applause fails to come, when the journey seems too long. Like roots deep in the earth, this strength grows steadily, unseen, yet it sustains every step you take, providing stability and resilience when storms arrive. So do not fear the quiet hours, for they are the forge in which your spirit is tempered. Embrace the solitude of effort, knowing that each act, though unseen, contributes to the creation of a strength that is unbreakable. Let your work be your devotion, your silence your sanctuary, and your persistence your most powerful statement. In time, the strength you cultivate in silence will reveal itself not as a boast, but as a presence, a quiet force that commands respect and inspires others simply by the magnitude of what it has endured and achieved. There is a subtle danger in seeking the approval of others, a quiet thief that steals time, energy, and clarity from those who chase it. When you allow the opinions of others to dictate your actions, you surrender the power that rightly belongs to you. The applause of strangers is fleeting, their criticism often misinformed, and yet many spend their lives bending toward both, hoping to be seen, hoping to be validated. But the truth is that your goals do not need an audience to grow. They need your undivided attention, your devotion, and your willingness to keep walking the path even when no one notices. Focus is the lantern that guides you through the shadows of distraction. When you concentrate on your work rather than the judgment of others, your energy becomes a force for creation rather than a battleground for approval. Every moment spent worrying about how others perceive you is a moment lost from building your dream, from sharpening your craft, from strengthening your character. The work that matters is not the work performed for recognition. It is the work performed because your soul demands it, because your vision refuses to remain dormant. There will always be voices ready to cheer, and just as many ready to jeer. The crowd is never neutral, and it is never truly invested in the labor of your heart. Yet within you lies the capacity to cultivate an inner audience, one that honors diligence, perseverance, and courage. When you measure success by your own standards, you reclaim your power. You begin to understand that your worth is not determined by applause, your progress is not dictated by commentary, and your purpose is not defined by the fleeting judgments of others. Choosing focus over approval also teaches resilience. When the inevitable criticism arrives, and it will, you are prepared, not because you have hardened yourself to the world, but because you have built a life in which the opinions of others cannot shake your foundation. Your goals flourish not because others understand them, but because you nurture them with consistency, with intention, and with belief in their possibility. In silence, your efforts accumulate. In focus, your actions gain momentum. And in devotion, your vision becomes unstoppable. So let the world speak, let the doubters whisper, and the admirers cheer. Neither defines the path you walk. What matters is the steadfast commitment to your journey, the discipline to prioritize your work over your reputation, and the courage to invest your energy where it yields true growth. Your goals are living things, nourished by effort, not opinion. Let focus be your constant companion, your guide, and your shield. In the quiet power of undistracted work, you will discover that the approval you once sought from others pales in comparison to the fulfillment, strength, and mastery that arise from unwavering attention to your own purpose. Growth is never hurried, nor is it ever loud. It is a quiet, deliberate unfolding, much like the seed that lies beneath the soil, hidden from the sun, drawing strength from the darkness. The world often measures success by what is visible, by the final bloom or the shouted triumph, but it is the unseen labor that matters most. Every root that stretches, every tender shoot that reaches upward, every tiny struggle to break free is part of a process that cannot be rushed or forced. Your dreams are no different. They demand patience, care, and faith in their own timing. Too often, we want to witness the immediate result, to see the promise of our effort rewarded instantly. Yet the laws of life do not bend to our impatience. A tree does not grow overnight. A river does not carve its path in a day. Each moment of preparation, every hour spent learning, every quiet decision contributes to the eventual emergence of something magnificent. By understanding the nature of growth, you come to honor the slow, steady work required to bring a dream to life, to embrace the process as much as the outcome. Growth also requires resilience, for the soil is not always soft, and the path upward is not always clear. There will be obstacles, pressures, and forces that seek to bury your seed deeper or divert its course. But the seed persists, drawing nourishment from what surrounds it, adapting and gaining strength. Your dreams must be treated the same way. Challenges are not signs of failure, but invitations to deepen your roots, to expand your capacity, and to refine your purpose. The work done in quiet, the effort that goes unnoticed, is exactly what equips you to rise when the time comes. Patience, too, is part of the equation. To grow is to wait without despair, to trust that the unseen will one day become visible. It is the quiet commitment to tending your dreams daily, consistently, without the need for acknowledgement or applause. Each small action matters: a word spoken, a skill honed, a habit formed, a fear faced. These incremental steps, often invisible to the outside world, accumulate into strength, momentum, and readiness for the moment of emergence. When your goals finally surface, they will do so with the confidence of someone who has grown deep roots, someone who has been nurtured by time, effort, and quiet devotion. Embrace this truth, for it liberates you from comparison and impatience. Your growth, your journey, is unique, and it unfolds on its own schedule. There is honor in the silent work, in the private victories, and in the unseen resilience that shapes the life you are building. Just as a seed trusts the soil, trust the process, nourish your dreams with care, protect them from the harshness of public scrutiny, and allow them the space to develop fully. When they break through the surface, they will do so with a strength and beauty that could only have been cultivated in silence, with patience, and with unwavering faith in the nature of growth. There is a quiet dignity in keeping your journey to yourself, in holding the story of your efforts close to your heart. Oversharing, though tempting, often invites the eyes of those who do not understand, who do not wish well, or who measure your progress against their own limited expectations. The more you expose your dreams too soon, the more vulnerable they become, not just to criticism, but to the subtle forces of envy, doubt, and distraction. Every word spoken publicly about your goals carries with it a weight, and each weight can bend the trajectory of your work if it is not handled with care. It is not arrogance to protect your journey, it is wisdom. You do not owe the world every step you take, nor do you need to explain the sweat and the patience that your dreams require. The voices of others are loud, persistent, and often unkind. They may question your timing, judge your methods, or compare your progress to theirs. By keeping your efforts private, you maintain control over your energy, reserving it for the labor that truly matters. You shield your heart from unnecessary pressure, allowing your work to unfold naturally without the strain of external expectation. Oversharing also diminishes the sacredness of accomplishment. When you announce every goal prematurely, the value of achieving it is diluted. The triumph, when it comes, loses the richness of surprise and the power of personal fulfillment. There is a sacredness in seeing your dreams come to life without the interference of others' opinions. The world will notice when your vision matures, and when it does, it will do so with awe, not because you demanded attention, but because you allowed your work to speak for itself. Keeping your journey private also encourages self-reliance. When your focus is internal rather than on the reactions of others, you learn to trust your own judgment, to measure progress against your own standards, and to find validation within your own heart. You become stronger, more resilient, and more disciplined. The discipline of silence builds character, and the satisfaction of quiet progress teaches a lesson that no applause could ever replace. You begin to understand that your worth is independent of public recognition, and that your dreams have a life of their own, nourished by effort, patience, and belief. The danger of oversharing is not simply in the exposure of your goals, but in the diversion of your energy. Each conversation about your progress, each public explanation, draws from the very time and focus that should be invested in building, creating, and growing. Protect your energy as you would a sacred flame. Guard your vision as you would a rare treasure. Allow your work to remain in the shadows until it is ready to shine, and when it finally does, the brilliance of your achievement will leave no room for doubt. There is power in quiet, in discretion, and in restraint. There is freedom in working unseen, in letting your results speak, and in knowing that your journey belongs first and foremost to you. There is a quiet power in knowing that the voice that matters most is the one within you. The world will always have opinions, judgments, and advice, some of it kind, some of it harsh, and some of it meant to sway you from your path. Yet none of these voices can navigate your journey for you. They are temporary, passing clouds in the sky of your life, while the voice of your own heart is steady, enduring, and truthful. When you learn to listen to that inner compass, you discover a strength that is impervious to the noise around you, a clarity that guides every decision, and a courage that propels you forward even when the way is uncertain. Validation from others is fleeting. Praise fades, recognition diminishes, and even admiration can shift with time. If you build your self-worth on the foundation of external approval, it will crumble with every change in circumstance. But when your validation comes from within, it is unshakable. It is the quiet nod of the soul that says, I am doing what I am meant to do. I am enough. I am on the right path. Internal validation is the fuel that keeps your dreams alive when no one else sees them, the anchor that holds you steady when doubt rises, and the compass that points you toward your true north when the world attempts to pull you off course. To seek validation within is not to ignore wisdom or guidance, but to distinguish between what nourishes you and what distracts you. It is to weigh counsel with discernment and to act with conviction. The opinions of others can provide insight, yes, but they should never dictate the direction of your life. Your heart knows what your soul needs, and it will not mislead you if you take the time to listen. Trusting yourself does not mean perfection. It means commitment to your vision, confidence in your choices, and patience with your own growth. When you measure success by your own standards, you are free. You no longer chase applause or recoil from criticism. You work because it fulfills you, because it brings you closer to your purpose, and because it aligns with the life you are determined to live. Every small act of perseverance, every quiet moment of effort becomes a triumph when it is recognized first by your own spirit. The satisfaction of internal validation cannot be taken from you, for it belongs solely to you, unshakable and eternal. Ultimately, the habit of seeking internal validation strengthens every part of your being. It teaches self-respect, cultivates resilience, and nurtures confidence. It allows your dreams to grow in freedom without the weight of judgment or the pull of expectation. Your heart becomes the compass, your conscience the guide, and your spirit the measure of your worth. When you embrace this truth, the world may still offer praise or criticism, but it will no longer determine your direction. You will move forward with quiet assurance, sustained by the deep and unwavering belief in your own path. Patience is not weakness. It is a quiet, steady strength that underpins every great achievement. The world rushes forward, demanding instant results, celebrating speed over depth, and often failing to recognize the slow, deliberate work that builds lasting greatness. Yet those who cultivate patience understand that time is not the enemy, but the ally of vision. Every moment of waiting, every step taken with care, every day spent nurturing your goals in silence is a brick laid in the foundation of a future that is solid and enduring. True power is not revealed in haste. It emerges through persistence, through the unhurried rhythm of effort that refuses to be broken by the impatience of the crowd. To be patient is to trust the process, to honor the seasons of growth that cannot be rushed. Like a tree that takes years to bear fruit, or a river carving its way through stone over centuries, the work you do today may not yield immediate rewards, but it is shaping your destiny all the same. There is a sacredness in allowing time to nurture your dreams, in giving them the space to develop fully before they are exposed to the world. Impatience, by contrast, leads to shortcuts, compromises, and unfinished efforts. Patience, however, creates a resilience that cannot be shaken, a depth of character that stands unbowed, and a legacy that endures beyond the moment. Patience also teaches humility. It reminds you that you do not control everything and that there is wisdom in surrendering to the timing of life. While you work, while you strive, the universe is shaping circumstances, testing your commitment, and preparing the ground for your arrival. Every delay, every obstacle is not punishment but preparation. The patient heart sees opportunity in waiting, strength in stillness, and lessons in the pauses between effort and reward. This understanding allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that persistence, not speed, is the true measure of progress. The practice of patience strengthens the spirit, for it demands faith in yourself and in your journey. It requires you to keep tending your dreams, to keep moving toward your goals, even when the results are invisible. There is a quiet dignity in this kind of work, a recognition that what is worth achieving is worth waiting for, and that the greatest victories are born from consistent, steady effort rather than sudden bursts of ambition. Each day of patient labor accumulates, forming a momentum that will carry you forward when the moment is right. Ultimately, patience is power because it allows you to act with purpose, not desperation. It frees you from the tyranny of expectation, from the pressure of comparison, and from the false urgency that distracts from meaningful work. By embracing patience, you honor your vision, protect your energy, and cultivate the strength needed to endure the challenges that lie ahead. In this quiet, unwavering commitment to your dreams, you find the power to persevere, the courage to wait, and the wisdom to understand that the timing of your success is as important as the success itself. There is a quiet joy in acknowledging your own victories, a joy that does not seek the validation of others, nor is it diminished by the lack of applause. The world often teaches us that achievement is measured by recognition, by the cheers of the crowd, or by the acknowledgement of peers. Yet the most profound satisfaction comes from knowing, deep within yourself, that you have overcome, that you have moved forward, that you have honored your own commitments. Each small victory, though unseen, is a testament to your effort, your resilience, and your courage. To celebrate in private is to honor the sacredness of your journey without allowing the world to dilute its meaning. The habit of private celebration nurtures humility and strength. When you acknowledge your accomplishments quietly, you recognize the true source of your growth, your own dedication and persistence. You learn to find pleasure in the act of progress itself rather than the reactions it may provoke. This quiet acknowledgement becomes fuel for the next step, the next challenge, the next endeavor. Every triumph, no matter how small, becomes a reminder of what you are capable of when you commit to your vision, and it builds an inner reservoir of confidence that no outside influence can diminish. Celebrating privately also protects your dreams from external pressures. Public recognition can create expectation, and expectation can weigh heavily on fragile beginnings. When your victories are shared only with yourself, they remain pure, free from the burden of comparison or the influence of judgment. You can savor the progress fully, without distraction, and use it as motivation to continue forward. The private celebration of small successes is not a denial of the world's presence, but an affirmation that your journey is yours to guide, and that the energy of external approval is better spent on the work itself. This practice teaches patience and perspective. Not every achievement needs to be broadcast, for the quiet moments of triumph are often the ones that matter most. They remind you that your path is measured not in accolades, but in consistent effort, in perseverance through obstacles, and in the courage to keep moving when no one else is watching. By acknowledging these victories privately, you build a sense of self-sufficiency, a deep understanding that your worth and your progress are inherent, not dependent on the acknowledgement of others. Ultimately, celebrating in private is an act of reverence toward yourself and your dreams. It allows you to honor the journey, to cherish the small steps, and to cultivate an inner joy that strengthens and sustains you. These private victories become the foundation for larger successes, for they remind you that growth is continuous, effort is sacred, and your determination is the true measure of accomplishment. In the quiet of your own heart, each triumph sings, each step forward is magnified, and the journey itself becomes a celebration of what you are becoming rather than what the world sees. There is a profound power in silence, a force that speaks louder than words ever can. When you labor quietly, when you nurture your dreams without announcement, the world does not notice your toil, and yet your work is gathering strength, clarity, and purpose. Like water carving stone, the persistent, unseen effort shapes the world around you without fanfare. The impact of your labor is not measured in immediate recognition or applause, but in the enduring resonance of what you create. When the time comes for your work to emerge, it will do so with a presence that cannot be ignored, a voice that cannot be dismissed, and a power that commands respect simply by existing. Silence is the soil in which your vision grows deep roots. While the world clamors for display, for proof, and for the rush of spectacle, your quiet diligence allows ideas, skills, and character to mature fully. There is no need to justify your process or explain your pace. The work itself, when it finally appears, will testify to the discipline, patience, and care that brought it to life. By resisting the urge to broadcast every step, you allow your achievements to arrive fully formed with the weight and dignity that only comes from time, focus, and unwavering dedication. The amplification that comes from silence is not accidental. It is the result of concentrated effort, the energy preserved from distraction, and the protection of your vision from premature critique. When others are watching too closely, their doubts, judgments, and comparisons can dilute the intensity of your work. By keeping your efforts private, you ensure that the impact of your achievements is untainted, unbroken, and fully yours. The world will notice not because you demanded attention, but because the magnitude of your success cannot be ignored. There is a clarity and authority in quiet triumph that no words could ever replicate. Silence also teaches humility and patience, reinforcing the truth that significance is not always immediate. The work you do in private builds depth, substance, and credibility. It allows you to grow without distraction, to refine your craft without pressure, and to prepare for the moment when your contribution will make its entrance. When the time comes, the emergence of your work will carry the weight of years of unseen effort, and its impact will be multiplied precisely because it was nurtured in silence. Ultimately, the greatest influence comes not from what is loudly proclaimed, but from what is quietly achieved. The strength of your accomplishments, the resonance of your purpose, and the authority of your presence are magnified when nurtured in silence. Let your work grow unseen. Let your vision mature away from the eyes of the world, and trust that when it finally surfaces, it will speak with a voice far louder and more enduring than anything that could have been said. In silence, your efforts are amplified, your achievements are strengthened, and the world cannot help but feel the power of what you have created.